with Damir Perkic, who is the founder of a startup company, bio-based materials company. Damir, I know you're ex-RPC as well, so you're heavily engaged in the plastics industry. Tell us a little bit about Bio first.
Yeah, Bio is a startup company who develops lifestyle products made from different bioplastics, because we want to make sure that the consumer understands why bioplastics is a solution to an oil-based plastic industry, which we want to solve. And we do that by developing lifestyle products that are reusable, which are made from different bioplastics, and that can tell the story: I'm made from a plant, I'm from sugarcane, I'm from alga, I'm from seaweed, starch, and that way the consumer sees the problem that we tell them about the oil-based industry, and we give them a solution, and they can tell it on to other people because they have the solution in their hands.
So, okay, if we just deconstruct the whole idea of bioplastics and just think of plastics for a minute. Of course, the consumer is massively engaged for all the reasons we know, Blue Planet, everything else. You said some interesting things. You said, I think, if I quote you correctly, this industry isn't going to change unless consumers start demanding it. I think you also said that 75% of consumers don't really know what they're buying. There's sort of a disconnect between those two things. How do you think you can get consumers to really engage in a positive way?
Well, 74% of the consumers don't know what kind of materials they buy. So let's say you buy a shoe and you don't really know what the materials that says on the shoe are really made of. We believe that we can tell the story if it's plant-based, if it's made from plants. That's a very positive thing instead of saying it's made from fossil oil. And the first thing that we have to make sure is to make people aware of the fact that more than 99% of all plastic in the world is made from fossil oil. And we use more oil in the plastic industry than the complete aviation industry. We have to make sure that people get aware of that, because that's a big problem. It's getting even larger. In 2050, 20% of all plastic, 20% of all oil in the world will be only used for the plastic industry. It's a huge problem, but people are not aware of it, and we make sure that they get aware of it, and we give them solutions. So I think that's a very positive way. We give a problem that they don't think about, and we give them a direct solution that they want. And we're not saying this is a problem, somebody has to fix this. No, we say this is a problem and we have the solutions to fix it. It's not perfect, but we're getting there. We have to make sure that there's enough finance going into that innovation and that we can expand and make it global.
That's a hell of a statistic. 20% of all plastics will be in packaging. All oil will be in plastic packaging.
Definitely.
I think the thing that struck me, the thing that I found interesting, the problem I think we've got is that plastic is such a negative word.
Exactly.
You've almost got to resolve that negativity before you actually get consumers to engage with a bio alternative. How do you propose that's going to happen?
Well, that's something that I mentioned in my presentation as well. If we keep on, we're not going to change the fact that people think negatively about plastic, because there's so many people seeing so many bad images regarding birds being trapped in plastic and stuff like that. So what we tell is, I support that we don't talk about bioplastic anymore. We should talk about plant-based materials or plantastic materials, because these materials are in definition different because of the resources where they came from. It's a renewable material, and yes, it has some bioplastics have exactly the same properties as plastics made from oil, but a lot of them don't. And if we use them in a correct way, I think we should have a different definition for bioplastics, because bio ends with plastic and plastic is bad, and we're not going to change that because there are so many people talking negatively about plastic. So I can tell you the benefits of plastics. I think nobody wants to know anyway, because they are so programmed into seeing it as a negative way.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think what you're doing is terrific, and I have to say personally I agree with you too. And I noticed earlier in the program somebody said we don't talk about bioplastics now, we talk about bio-based materials. it's a cynical world, though, you know, and somebody's going to say, well, Plantastic is plastic, really, just, you know, arose by any other name, etc., etc., etc. Is it possible? Is it possible to convert that consumer to a bio alternative?
I think we can definitely convert the consumer because climate change is the number one world issue at the moment concerning millennials, and we are solving climate change on our way by going to bioplastics.
And bio is a solution to climate change. That's the message we're sending out. Somebody else said earlier on that if we're going to have a bio alternative to fossil fuel, then it's got to be a better alternative.
Yeah.
Now, all right, climate change, arguably, there is no better alternative or better reason for an alternative than that. But your bottle, which we love, which is magnificently designed, could have been made in 100% fossil fuel-based plastic.
What was the question, sorry?
Well, I'm looking at your bottle and I'm thinking about doing things better, but I think what makes your BO reusable bottle so good is actually its design rather than its construction.
Yeah, we try to look at different perspectives, not only the material but also the design. It has to have a circular design so it's still recyclable, and it has to look very good, and it has to have great functionalities, and that's everything we integrated in one bottle, because we don't want to have a discussion, oh, it's not recyclable, or it's going to break very fast, or it doesn't look good, or the functionalities. You know, we want to have a great product, but show that it's possible to make it from a plant.
Okay. How is it being marketed?
Well, in the last 7 to 8 months, I've been speaking at a lot of conferences like this, putting my time and effort in that, doing podcasts and stuff like that. And now we are building a team, and from 2020 we are going to develop new colors, also new products, and then we're going to have a team and talk about these things in a very positive way, but also show that it can be done differently.
So is the idea that BO will go into production, or will you license it?
The brand name yourself, you mean?
No, the actual manufacturer.
No. It's we develop our products, and in the future we want to make a factory as well where we can develop and produce for other companies. But that's something for the future.
All right, and then the future is what? 2 years down the road, maybe?
Well, within 5 years we want to have a lot of different products to show, to make sure that our competitors feel the heat as well. Because I know that when my competitors see that I take their clients, they will look at what we do differently, and they will make the switch to bioplastics as well.
Last question, Damir. Big brand owners have gone this route of trying to engage the consumer directly. I'm thinking Coca-Cola for one, I'm thinking Nestle, I'm thinking Danone. With all their resource and all their money and all their reach behind them, they've struggled. Why do you think you can go the distance where they've not been able to?
Because I'm a person and they are corporate.
Good answer. Can't argue with that. Damir Perkic, thank you very much indeed.
Welcome.